Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining the Pure Michigan Properties podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Shaluanda and I'm joined with.
Hey, I am Dylan Mostyn.
And so, this episode, you guys, we're going to share our experience as we just completed our transactions as dual agents, which was ironic to us, but we just wanted to let you join in on the journey so that you can understand, the ins and outs of what a dual agent is.
So I want to just pause for a second. So being in a dual agent role is, I would say, on more of the rare side.
Yes.
It's not every day that you'll become a dual agent. So I just think it's funny. I mean, you said it's ironic, and I totally agree. What are the odds? And we closed around the same day, like the same week, basically.
Yeah.
That's, to me, just so funny.
You know what? I never saw myself in a dual agent situation. I didn't think that this opportunity would have presented itself for this transaction.
Yeah.
And so, just to go along with it or through it at the same time you were going through it, it's like, oh wow.
It's funny to think about, like, cause like what I was saying. I mean, you just don't run into it on every listing you do, because that's most cases than not, you will be a dual agent when you have a listing and you bring in the buyer. That's usually how it works. I just, when you told me, like, yes, I brought in the buyer too, I'm like, what are the odds that both of our listings, we brought in the buyers, and I do want to add cash buyers.
Cash buyers, both deals were cash buyers.
So.
And so, tell us, again, okay, let's remind the folks.
Yeah.
Right, so back to, if you guys remember what dual agency is, when it comes to agency disclosures, you have your seller's agent, represents the seller's interest and the seller, and then you have your buyer's agent who represents the buyer and their interest, and then the dual agent again represents both sides of the transaction. And so there are some things that, right, like confidentiality, that has to be kept when you work with both sides. And so
correct. So this is what I told both my seller and my buyer. Well, I told this to my seller when we were on our listing appointment. I said, these are the different types of agencies that are in the realm of real estate. As of right now, I'm your listing agent. That's the agency I have. But I also want you to understand that there is a small chance that I might become a dual agent. I'm very glad that I explained it, because that small chance did pop up on this listing. And I explained to her, I would also represent the buyer as well, and I also represent their best interest in the property and make sure that they're protected on their end as much as I'm doing it for you. I paint the picture as I split my brain in half. My left side of the brain is to the listing. My right side of the right side of my brain is to the buyer. None of the information that goes on the left goes onto the right. None of the information on the right goes onto the left. So none of it merges in between.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's where the protection comes in.
Absolutely. And to add to that, I do always go over the possibility of dual agency arising during a transaction, during the consultations. And so, just like you, right? It's just luck of the draw.
Right. I mean, through our marketing efforts, I'd like to say.
Through our marketing efforts. So let's kind of just discuss the transaction from start to finish. How did it work out for you?
So this was the first time I've ever been in dual agency, and I will say I learned a ton. And I think the first thing I learned especially was put everything in writing, because obviously there's no gray area when it's either black or white, right? So that was the first lesson I learned throughout this whole transaction, is make sure you get everything in writing. So with that being said, when I had my listing consultation, I had the seller sign off saying they understand what dual agency means And that protects me so that in the case that I go back to my seller and say, hey, good news, I have a offer for you, but I'll also be representing the buyer, they understand what that means already, and I don't have to panic them by saying, I'm also representing the buyer. They're gonna be like, wait, what?
Right.
We already went over that, so that relieves all the anxiety of like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Because when you're high in emotions, when you hear I have an offer, you're excited, but you're also like, wait, now he's representing the buyer. Wait, now I'm confused.
Right.
But we already broke down those walls.
That's right. And so, what's your, I guess, let me ask you, what was your system?
My system was, great question. I don't think I have one, to be honest.
Okay.
I think it's more just like the organization with everything. So like I said, I love everything in writing. Emails are my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
After a phone call, email.
Yeah.
This is what we talked about. This is what we discussed. This is what the next steps going forward.
Yes.
And that helps protect me, helps protect my seller and my buyer.
That's right.
So I guess communication in a written form is the system for me, because if it's all up in here, I'm gonna go crazy.
Absolutely.
You're right. I need to put it in a place where at least I can like sit and forget it for a second.
That's it.
Because I know my brain can't handle everything and anything.
No.
I understand my limitations myself as an agent. So just making sure everything has a place that it can go into helps me.
That's right.
But what about you? What's
And
your system?
This transaction, seeing how it was my first transaction as a dual agent, it did help me put systems into place.
Mm-hmm.
And so, much like yourself, the emails. So I figured now, moving forward, that I'll have a system in place that allows my clients to journey through this process along with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did was I composed a file folder, basically, with every step of the transaction with the email. Hey, this is the email that you will receive.
Mm-hmm.
And so look forward to this during this phase of the transaction. And please ensure that you acknowledge the receipt of the transaction. Of the email.
And I like the fact that you added that on to the end. Please acknowledge that you've seen, received it, all of that. Because now that forces them to respond, and that's your way of saying that they read it.
Yes, indeed. And so if I just start from the beginning of the property, right from the process, we did the consultation with the seller, and I began the marketing efforts. Right, and so that included, I'm not going to give the whole formula, but most of it was I physically marketed to the local businesses, so introduced myself to the local business owners,
right,
extended flyers and things like that, and some of the other businesses in the community, right, within like a 5 to 10 mile radius, and so couple days went by. I actually got a couple of different hits, right? And when I say hits, I mean calls coming in
from the businesses.
No, well, this was from individuals who had seen the marketing flyers.
Gotcha.
And so, first it wasn't looking too good.
Okay.
Right. But then we had a major event happen in the city of Detroit because the property was listed in Detroit. They opened the Grand Central Station.
Yes.
And so folks from that event, they were the ones to actually reach out more so. And so, yeah, I had explained to my seller, listen, I know I'm representing you from consultation. I know that I'm representing you as the seller, but I'm also going to get the buyer.
Yeah.
That was always my conversation.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I say that with every consultation, right? Because why not?
Right.
You know.
I mean, our job at the end of the day is to, when we're on the listing side, is to market your property to find the buyer.
That's right.
Whether that's through the efforts of another agent or that's from us as the agent representing the buyer as well, which I think obviously it doesn't happen at every single property or
Oh, right,
transaction. I mean,
absolutely
it's
not.
a very low percentage that an agent represents both sides. But for me, and I think I would say the exact same for you, our goal is really to provide the best experience. And I know in my business
That's right.
that the best experience is when I can represent both sides, because
That's right.
I've learned being in the industry, most issues are caused between the agents,
That's right.
not between the buyer or the seller. It's the agents.
That's right.
And when you have two agents, that could cause problems.
Indeed.
But when you have either Shaluanda representing both the buyer and the seller, myself representing both the buyer and seller, you only have one agent who, and unless I'm fighting with myself,
Right.
I think we'll do pretty well.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Right. And so, but it's also through those targeted marketing efforts.
So go into that more.
Yeah, so when I go to list a property, I'm looking at neighborhood amenities, what's going on in the neighborhood, who's already in the neighborhood, and just figuring out, the ins and outs of who wants to be in this neighborhood and going to target those individuals directly. And so I don't know if I'm sure you know, but there's a science to everything.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
And learning styles is something that I always, I have 4 different children, right? So learning styles is something that I try to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that, we have visual learners and things like that. So I end up
sorry. My stomach wanted a conversation too.
Join us.
Not just meant podcast, not meant for just people, for your bellies
For
too.
your bellies too. All inclusive for the whole body.
Exactly.
But no, we've had those times, right? But back to the science of everything.
Yeah.
What I did was I made several types of flyers.
Mm-hmm.
One that I felt would attract different types of individuals.
That's smart. Because
that was the win.
That goes back to the whole target, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a general, here's the market, and I'm just going to throw it in and see where it lands.
That's right.
You said, I'm going to go learn the market, understand who would be moving into this house.
Yeah.
And go after them. Because that makes more sense for your time, your energy, money, all of it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we don't live to work, we work to live.
Yeah.
Right? So using our time as strategically as possible.
Absolutely.
Is just for the cost of time, money, whatever that word is, but
the time value of money.
Yes, exactly. That we have to be smart with it.
Absolutely.
So I think you did a fabulous job of figuring out where that buyer's coming from and going right after it.
Thank you. Well, the one thing that I did learn, and you taught me this, is to ensure that I story brand my marketing materials.
Yeah.
And so it paints that visual for a prospective buyer.
Definitely.
And so I appreciated that.
Of course. I mean, I did that with my own listing. I was like, who is the person that's going to be moving in here?
Mm-hmm.
So I learned about the house, learned about the neighborhood, learned about the city, the township, the county, all of it, to figure out, back to the target marketing that you've done, is who is that target market? Who's going to be coming in,
That's right?
And kind of I pinpointed that as, okay, perfect, this is who I need to go after. So I focused all my marketing efforts towards that particular, I like to call them like an avatar, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That persona of a person. And I mean, just like how it happened with you, it worked fabulously.
It did. Let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
This is a question that I asked my seller, right? Did you ask your seller what things they were interested in, and what places do they like hang out at?
Unfortunately, I did not do that, only because the sellers were not the ones who lived at the
Ah, got you.
It was their parents, and their parents passed away.
Okay.
So they didn't really understand it either because they don't live in the same area.
Okay.
So they didn't really know too much information about the house, and that put a little bit more of a workload on me to go start doing the research, the understanding behind the house, which genuinely was kind of fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, not really,
Okay.
but it's definitely something, excuse me, that I think should be implemented for sure.
Okay. Absolutely.
Did you? I'm assuming you did.
I did. I absolutely did. Just because for me, this was an investment property, and so it needed tons of renovations and works and things like that. So it's like tapping into the mindset, you know. And so if my person, you know, my client saw the potential in this, then maybe like-minded individuals will see that same potential.
Right.
And so, yeah, I did ask. But my goal and my job in any transaction, like you stated earlier, is to always make sure that the clients have the best experience. And being a top communicator is how I think we provide those experiences.
1,000%. I mean,
Yeah.
communication is key.
Yeah.
I feel like if my sellers or my buyers are calling me, I did something wrong.
Yeah.
Because I should have been the one communicating that ahead of time.
That's right.
Of like, if they're calling me with questions, that means I dropped the ball somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I should have already had the answers to them.
Yeah, and we're laying out expectations from the very beginning.
Oh, from the first time we meet, from the
That's
moment I'm
it.
shaking your hand.
And I believe all we have in the world, not even just in this industry, is our reputation.
Oh,
And
100%.
so we have to keep our words. I am going to do what I say I'm going to do.
Yes. 1,000%, right?
That's right.
Because people talk, and if you have a bad taste in someone's tongue, what do you think they're doing? They're going to tell people.
Yeah.
They're going to tell their friends, their
Yeah.
family. Or if like your name randomly pops up, ooh, I worked with Dylan and he didn't do X, Y, and Z
That's
for me
right.
when he told me he would, right?
Yeah.
People always remember that.
Exactly.
So I always like to leave with a good impression on someone. And if there's room for improvement, I always ask too. I'm like, where did you think that I could have improved?
Indeed.
Because that helps me on my end. And it helps me just get better.
That's right. And so each day, each transaction, as we continue to learn and grow, I'm always aiming to get better. And so
Always. I'm never
not
great.
perfect.
No, wait.
Not great yet.
Yeah. Listen, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, but I strive for greatness every time.
Yes.
So that's it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's my journey.
I think, I mean, that was my journey too. You closed yesterday.
I did.
And then I closed 2 days ago.
Okay.
So, I mean, I just think I keep going back to the fact I think it's so funny that we both had the same kind of deal and we closed it at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds? The odds of dual agency, slim to none.
Exactly.
The odds that it was cash, again, slim to none. The odds that we closed it at the exact same.
You guys, you see the dynamic here.
It's just crazy.
Understand that we're out here and we're doing this and we're putting these efforts forward.
Yeah.
And we're reaping the results because this is what happens when you intentionally follow your dreams.
I love that. I really love that. No, genuinely, we're just putting in the work.
That's it.
And something about the energy between us.
I love it.
I'm obsessed with it.
You guys, when I'm away from Dylan, right, too long, it doesn't feel good.
I tell people my separation anxiety is through the roof. I remember it was like a couple weeks ago. One of the people in our office was like, "Where's Shaluanda?" I'm like, "I don't know. I need to see her."
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Well, we'll do a phone call usually every once in a while, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. It is not the same. But I think that's what you get when you run into individuals that's just genuine, right? And is selfless.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that's the word.
Yeah,
I tell people. I mean, Shaluanda has a heart of gold. Every single time, if someone's like, "Tell me about Shaluanda," heart of gold. That's I don't have to say anything more because I think that encompasses everything that you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so, if anyone knows me, I'm big on family. Like, I love, and so I adopted Dylan. He's my baby brother.
Yes.
And so for me to adopt you, you know, just know
Listen,
it's
I know
it's
you.
all love.
I was gonna say, I know you don't just pick anyone.
Yeah, no.
No.
It's all love.
Yeah. Next time we'll make it to the family reunion.
That's right. 2026.
We're going on a cruise.
We're going on a cruise. We're in this thing together. And so, you guys, we love to, you know, be able to extend the same type of energy and experience to you as well. And so, if you have the opportunity and you're ready to start your journey, don't wait till the last minute.
No. That's when you end up with like bumps in the road, and because then some processes have to get rushed, and this is a process you don't want to rush.
Right. And
take your time and enjoy it as well.
That's right. Enjoy it, you know, and for that seamless process, what this has taught me, this experience for me, it had me, and this is very poor English, but I'm a realtor. I'm not an English major. But I went back to revisit my other processes, right, for the single transactions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to implement some changes there. And so.
Well, so if they want a seamless and smooth transaction, Shaluanda, how do they get in contact with you?
To get in contact with me, and this is even beyond real estate, give me a call. My personal number, you can reach me at 586-339-8321, or you can give me send a text. Send me an email, Shaluanda, which is spelled SHALAUNDA @kw.com. And so I'm waiting, and I would love to help you out during your transaction. If not, reach out to Dylan. Dylan, how can they reach you?
The best way to get in contact with me is either by calling or texting to 248-891-9860, or you can check out my website. It is dylanmoston.com, spelled DYLANMOSTYN.com. Go on there, check it out. There's a couple fun resources on there that you can explore.
And so, you guys, we gotta head out of here because we gotta get Dylan something for his stomach. We're gonna make sure he eats. And check us out. We're here to help you.
Oh,
and
I do need to eat something.
It's all good, you guys. See how we take care of each other? We're ready to take care of you.
It's always beyond real estate.
It's always beyond real estate. It is, let me tell you. I was reading, and we'll wrap it up. But I was reading a magazine, and it's people over commission. And I really love that saying. And so, you guys, we're here to help you reach your goals. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.